Yo, what is up? I'm Zach. Welcome back to my channel of RWBY Mythology. Today I bring you guys part 2 of What If Cinder Fall Was Adopted by Summer Rose. And before I continue, I'll go check the previous part before you guys check over here, because this one I'm making any sense to you. And you guys really love that first part, did y'all? Huh? Just, wow. That's, I was not expecting that y'all guys really loved the first part. And there are some things I completely forgot in part 1. 2 of them, actually. And I'm completely stunned that y'all guys really actually like this. And never thought it would get this much of attention, honestly. It's almost reaching 500 views, so let's hope part 1 reached 1K. So yeah. And also, before I continue on, there's something I wanted to clear out about the team name for Cinder, Ember, Emerald, and Mercury. And so far there were some good ones, some of them just didn't make no sense. And I have to give a shout out for the EV Kingdom 7137, who at first he wanted the team to be called Team Cream, but I thought it didn't sound right the way it sounded. But we both came to the agreement that the team name would be called Team Caramel. You know, Team Caramel, CAME. So that's the team name. Well, you have Cinder, Ember, Mercury, and Emerald. And so Cinder is basically be the leader of the team. So yeah, there's that. And another thing that I need to clear up is about Ember. Is she still the Fall Maiden, since, well, Cinder, Emerald, and Mercury are now Ozpin's inner circle, and Ember is part Cinder's team? The question is, yes, Ember is still the Fall Maiden for now. And the question is, does Ember still get injured like she did in the actual canon? Well, yes and no. Reason by that, because, well, her team would knew something wasn't right when someone is trying to lure Ember to a trap, and the enemy that are replacing Cinder, Emerald, and Mercury is, if you read the novels for Before the Dawn and After the Fall, what's her name? Give me 1 second. Okay, the 3 people are replacing Cinder, Emerald, Mercury is Carmine, Jax, and Jill. If you guys know who these 2 characters are from After the Fall and Before the Dawn. So yeah, they basically are the replacement. And if you guys know their semblance, oh yeah. For those who do not know, Carmine, her semblance is basically similar to Glinda, telekinesis, Jax, mind control, and Jill is aura siphoning. So yeah, the reason why I should have brought this up in part 1, which that was kind of my bad, and these characters have an important role. Basically the twins. The twins have a more important role than Carmine. And you basically could guess who is the new vessel for the maidens. So, yeah, it's Carmine. And in this scenario, Carmine is a summer maiden in this scenario. Wait, hold on. How Carmine could be a summer maiden? Well, let's just say the original Summer Maiden died in combat against Carmine and Jax and Jill. And so thanks to Carmine now the ability to steal the maiden powers, the similar thing how Cinder had the actual cannon. So now Carmine is now the Summer Maiden, and now she's after the Fall Maiden, because even though Carmine has the Summer Maiden, you would think that means Salem has the Sword of Destruction. Nope, because Salem still wants to get the Relic of Choice. She still wants that. We all know that. So the only way to find it and get it is to have the Fall Maiden. So the fight with Amber against Carmine, Jax, and Jill, it will be similar situation of how like Amber encounters Cinder, Emerald, and Mercury, but since Carmine is a Summer Maiden in this, we get a maiden battle way early until, well, the enemies started to have the edge, injured Amber, and Carmine was about to absorb his power, but she gets attacked, kicked in the face by Cinder for using the arrow to make sure that thing doesn't touch Amber. And Emerald and Mercury comes in to deal with the twins, and Crow jumps in as well to aid in as well. So basically, when they see Crow, yeah, they book it. Like, yeah, they can't. So Amber was not injured. Well, she is injured, but not bad at condition how she was in the canon. So yeah, there's that. So basically, the enemy just retreated, etc. So I forgot to mention that was on me. So yeah, with out of the way, let's just go ahead and dive into this scenario. So basically, we start off where we last left off, where Volume 1 basically began, like in the original canon. Ruby Rose is in the dust shop, minding her business until random thugs who are working with Roman Tortrick, and you guys basically know the rest. But in this scenario, Ruby doesn't encounter Cinder like in the original canon. She doesn't encounter Carmine, which Ruby doesn't know who she is, and notice how Glinda and this mysterious enemy both have similar telekinesis. And before Carmine was about to attack Ruby, Cinder jumps in and blocking the attack, shooting fused bows and arrows at her. And Carmine is livid that, great, this bitch is here. So basically, both Carmine and Roman escape, and Ruby was so focused on Glinda that, she's a huntress, and Ruby gets scolded. Instead of Glinda is Cinder. Cinder is livid, like, Ruby Rose, what are you thinking? Do you have any idea what you did? You could have got yourself hurt or killed. Good Lord, Ruby, I told you to think before acting. But sis, I was only defending myself. They attacked me. Like, true, but you could have done a better way. Instead, you throw a random person out of the window, breaking a property damage. You know that. But sis, no buts, Ruby. Jeez, Ruby, why are you even here? Were you supposed to be back at home? Back in the training academy? Well, before she about to explain, Ozpin and Glinda comes in. Ozpin with the cookies, and Cinder's like, Professor Ozpin, I thought I should come and visit the Little Red for myself. I have certain questions I want to ask her as well. So, basically, Ozpin asks her a certain question, like, where did you learn how to use this weapon? How are you capable to wield in the most deadliest weapons? So, Ruby explained that she learned it from Uncle Crow, and she made her weapon. So, yeah. And Cinder just like roll her eyes like, of course. And Osmond take a good look of Ruby of her silver eye, just like her mother. And Cinder doesn't like where this is going. And Osmond asks Ruby, does she wants to become a huntress? Does she wants to go to his school? And Ruby was like, more than anything. So Osmond gives Ruby a special treatment where she skips 2 years of her training academy. Oh, Cinder does not like that one bit. So after questioning Ruby, both Osmond, Glinda, and Cinder plus Ruby then decided to meet up with Yang and Tai. So Tai is wondering if Cinder is gonna, heading home or, coming with them. Cinder said, like, I have to return back to the dorm with my team. Plus, I need to speak to Ozpin alone. So, Tai understands, and both Tai and his daughters decided to leave. And Ozpin is straight to the point and said, you're questioning me why I decided to have Miss Rose to skip her training academy to my school. And Cinder is like, yeah, all because of her silver eyes? Really? Are you sure? She's still young. What do you see in her? And why now? She still has much to learn. And Ozpin was like, true, she still has much to learn. But she can have the experience in the training academy. After all, she has you. You could help her to complete her training, instead of just the training academy itself. After all, you're in your 30th year, and you're about to be graduated soon, along with other third year of your classmates. So it's best that you keep an eye on your sister. After all, she's not going to be alone, and you know that. Your other sister, Miss Xiaolong, is also going to be to be part of the school. So you should not be worried about anything. And Cinder just like, alright. Doesn't like it, but at the same time, yeah. Now, in this scenario, I will actually save it in part when we get to volume 3, since I think Amber wants to have a word with Ozpin alone about, well, she's felt like she's dying, and she wants to pass down tomato to someone else. And Ozpin thinks they could find someone a success, but Amber says, not random people, I want someone that I can trust. So, basically in secret, that Amber never doesn't want anyone to know, she wants to give the full maiden to Cinder. And she wants to wait for the right moment when the time is right, to tell Cinder about it. So, yeah. So basically, how do I put this? So basically, everything goes out in the actual canon. Ruby enters her first day in Beacon Academy, gets leave behind by Yang, get yelled at by Wise, and Blake stands up and Blake walks away. But basically, just list goes on and on. Technically, Volume 1 just plays out the usual same for the main characters. Team Juniper has been formed. Team Ruby has been formed, led by Ruby Rose herself. And Cinder, hearing that her little baby sister is a team leader. Oh boy. So, after the whole celebrating of the announcement of the new teams for the first year students, Cinder decided to have a word with Ruby, telling her that to be a leader, you need to be responsible, and this should not be a joke. And you may be skipping your 2 years in training. That doesn't mean you're going to start fooling around. So basically, Cinder's telling her that that she's gonna continue in completing her training to be more skillful instead of just how she was, which RWBY felt kind of annoying, but she doesn't want to argue against Cinder, so she literally had no choice at this moment. So basically, everything Volume 1 is basically the same as usual, and basically Ozpin wants to give Team Caramel to investigate on Carmine, Jax, and Jill, and that, you know, they need to bring them to justice. Plus, she has to summon Maiden, so that's going to be a problem. And yeah. And Ozpin is kind of a bit of worry that if Carmine is now the new Summer Maiden, Salem might have the Relic of Destruction. So get Carmine, they can ask the question if she actually has the Relic of Destruction. So basically, Carmine is taking the role of Cinder, and the twins are just being, well, twins. And they're basically everything just goes out as well in the actual canon. It's just a lot of things just not really change a lot. And so basically, Volume 1 ends up how it was in the original. And of course, Ruby and Yang do get scolded by Cinder for doing something reckless as to it. But at the same time, she's proud of them to what they did. But they still get scolded. And Ruby, being, you know, still training underneath Cinder, and she actually wants to get Ruby's team to all into the mix. Even though they still in their first year, they still have a lot to learn. So basically, Cinder is basically training the whole members of Team RWBY. Now, here's the thing. What about John? Does he still get the same treatment how Pura does? Well, yes. But here's something completely different, though. Pura actually goes to ask Mercury for help. Wait, why Mercury? Well, technically Mercury is an assassin, and he pretty much has a lot more experience, and no one knows about Mercury's past, because he'd rather have his past not to be known, since Mercury is a skillful fighter, because, well, knowing what Mercury is capable of, she asked Mercury to help her with John's training to be more skillful combatant warrior. And Mercury actually obliged, but gives Pura a warning that he's not going to go easy on John because he was trained in a more brutal way. So he's gonna deal with a lot. He's going to have a lot of bruises. So just be warned. And another thing, speaking of Mercury, does Mercury still have those same mechanical legs? Well, no. Since he lost his original legs, he gets a new prosthetic legs, just like how Yang have her own cybernetic arm that was made in Atlas. Well, since Team Caramel are now in the Ozpin's inner circle, Ironwood decided to make 2 new cybernetic legs for Mercury for his legs for his fighting skills. So basically, it's similar to Yang. Yeah, it's basically similar to Yang, so to speak, but more I would say like similar to like volume 7 look of how Yang arm was. So it's kind of like similar to that for the shotgun gauntlet for the shoe from above the shoe or whatever. So yeah, so that's basically Mercury. Mercury has a new prosthetic leg that was made in Atlas. So basically, as much I want to go into Volume 2, well, nothing really changed. except for one. Here's something that is completely different for Volume 2. And that is Carmine, Jack, and Jill, they cannot get into the school. Why? Well, because Cinder, Emerald, Mercury, and Amber, for example, yeah, if they encounter them again, their cover will be blow. So it's best to not get into the school. And their plan is to hack the Atlas technology. So basically the prom dance goes out of the original, but except Cinder hacking, like in the original canon, is Carmine who actually hacks the Atlas system to, spread the virus and the hack, like the actual canon. RWBY does encounter the same person yet again. So basically in this scenario, Carmine, Jack, and Jill will not do the similar trope how Cinder, Emerald, and Mercury did to blend in, since, well, now Carmine, Jack, and Jill can do that because, well, again, Cinder and the other team members will recognize them, so that's gonna be a problem. So then this comes to Jack and Jill's mind to basically have someone to be someone's under his command. Basically, Jack's thinking they should get one of them to be under their control. So the only way they could do that is to have him be separated from his team, and that is Mercury. So basically, but Carmine has something better. She wants to speak with Mercury alone because she sees something in Mercury, that Mercury had a bit of an issue with Cinder for being a team leader, and because Mercury is, well, even though he's laid back kind of guy, how we saw in the volume 2 and 3, now he was more like a laid back person, he's still a smart ass, but he doesn't like how Cinder being a leader. Like, he'd rather be a leader of his own, and he wants to be the leader of the team. But since Amber is the closest friend to Cinder, and Emerald is too loyal to Cinder, so basically it's 3 against 1 of the vote. So yeah, so basically Cinder is going to be the team leader, which that kind of pissed off Mercury. So basically one night, Mercury's just walking out in fresh air until someone grabbed his face, took him to the corner side. Mercury knows that it's Carmine who's about to throw some hands. Carmine was like, "Whoa, easy there, assassin. Calm down now. I'm not here to fight, handsome. I'm here to talk. I'm here to offer you. What kind of offer that I'd rather take for some scumbag like you?" And Carmine was like, "You should have talked something like that to a pretty woman, handsome." Mercury's like, "Look, I see a pretty good looking woman, and you're not in my bucket list." And Carmine was like, so much of an assassin you are. How in the world that Ozpin decided to have an assassin in his school, but never keeps him on a leash? Especially your team leader, Cinder. Mercury, ooh, he felt that, the sting. And Carmine continued that she wants him on his side. For exchange, he could give him what he wanted. Something that basically wants him desire. Like, think about it for a second. Like, he wants to be the top dog, right? And he wants to be his own person, wants to do his own decision, something that he never had. from his father, underneath Ozpin, and under the leadership by Cinder. So basically offering Mercury a freedom from Cinder. Mercury taking this all in, he thought of it. And he's like, so the funny thing is, I know you're playing me, but you're right. So Mercury decided to listen what she has to offer. So basically the plan that she had in mind to give them information more about the Atlas drones, the Atlas militaries, basically the drones in general, and basically reporting it to her, give them all the information and everything else, and Carmine, as she tells Mercury about, then she sends a virus to the Atlas system, so soon the drones could turn against the general, etc. And they're wondering about the Fall Maiden, because she's after it as well, to find the relic of choice. Mercury asks, so you don't have the relic of destruction. Carmine was like, no, my master, quote unquote, I pretty much prefer to call her a boss than just a master. She wants to get this relic of choice. She believes that it's more important than that sword of destruction relic. So we need to know where it is. And Mercury's like, you're asking the wrong guy. The only person who knows where it is Ozpin. Good luck getting any information out of him. And Carmine was like, true. That is why we're going to use the Atlas drones and technology against them. You really think, I'm surprised you haven't put a piece together that it was all part of the plan that Roman was planning to get himself arrested? So that was plan 1. The true plan is about to begin when the federal I'm just going to call it sports festival. When the sports festival is about to begin. So basically, if you gather any information or data or anything that you could find, you can send it to me and I will have everything planned out. And once the time is right, you have to come with me. Because once you come with me, there's no turning back. Once you join with Salem, there's no going back from it. Are you willing to take that risk, that chance? So Mercury thinks of it and he says yes. So now Mercury becomes an agent for Carmine to get any information and data as possibly can. And that leads, Volume 3. So I'm going to end this part right here because, like I said, there's literally not much to go over in Volume 1 and 2. It's just basically the same. Nothing really changed at all. It's just the one thing that would change vividly is that, Carmine and Jax and Jill just can't blend in as a random student in the Beacon Academy because of Cinder, Emerald, Mercury, and Amber. They will know who they are, and the cover would have been blown. So the only way they could do it, it gets one of the team to be joined on their side, being their agent, their spy. And Mercury is the only one because him not being a leader. So, yeah. Basically there's going to be people who are going to die in Mercury's hands. So basically some blood will be on Mercury's hands. So yeah. Let me know your thoughts and opinions, what you guys think. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Links to my other channel, my social media will be down below in the description box. You can know the drill. Links to my Cash App, PayPal, Ko-fi will be down below in the description box and in my bio if you guys want to donate to support the channel. Again, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. RWBY is love, RWBY is life. Keep moving forward, and I'll see you guys later.